Hello, Internet! Welcome to Wednesday's Serial. This time I want to talk about a new upcoming book called iZombie. Right now there's the first issue out, and it's only $1 for the first issue, as Vertical usually does. And so I'm going to try to hopefully encourage you to check it out. Now, chances are that the names of the main talent aren't going to push you too much. Chris Robertson is the writer, and he had a Fables tie-in that was his biggest break thus far. Then Michael Allred, you probably know from Madman fame or from Ecstatics when he worked on that, so usually kind of off-the-wall stuff. And this is probably his most quote-unquote normal book to date that I know of. And it has quite a bit of layers, so I kind of want to, tackle a few of them, spoil it a little bit for you, just so you can hopefully get into it, because I think it's an intriguing idea, and it should get support so the book doesn't die early on. Now, the main character's name is Gwen Dillon, and I'm just going to completely flat out spoil this, because if you read the preview, you know it all already. She's essentially a zombie, but as opposed to being a brain zombie, she actually, in order to stop that regression, has to continue eating brains, which she finds incredibly disgusting. In order to procure these, she works at a graveyard site and digs up and then digs again, and in order to get the brains, digs it all up, eats, and then puts it all back again. You have this idea of when she eats the brain, she gains the memories, and so in this case someone was murdered. In order to get the thought out of her head, she's going to go try to catch the killer, which is where this first book ends. But what they try to do, rather than just hook you with that basic premise in this and then lead off into that, is lead you in with all the side characters, which is where I think this kind of book comes together. Whereas zombies have been so prevalent, there's many other different characters that they're trying to get to. There's kind of the roommate in the graveyard, or the friend, I'm not quite sure what they're going for yet, but Ellie is a ghost who wanders around. She died 40 years ago, and the idea is that she's kind of dated, but I mean, she's trying to keep up, but she likes getting quote-unquote out, I guess, and just the idea of this ghost that's not really haunting, but simply is a ghost, just is another one of these different kind of stock monsters. Then the were-terrier or werewolf is Spot or Scott. They kind of throw around all the names, so I'm not sure really what's he's going to go by, but he's just kind of interesting just for the fact that he's this guy trying to get in with the girls, but just kind of a tool, and kind of a needy guy, which is kind of usually painful to read in comics as someone who might have or might not have related to that at one point in their life. Anyways, the bigger idea in my mind here is the fact that you have these stock monsters, but they're playing in with different characteristics, and they're just twisting the stereotypes on their head for these ideas. They're doing something different with it. Honestly, this first issue, all in all, wouldn't normally be enough to grab me, but I mean, the fact that they priced it low and the fact that there's all these different ideas just leads me to just wonder what's happening next. And there's a chance that this book could just not be that great, but I really have a feeling that it's building. And the idea that you have all these great characterizations that's not jumping right to the plot means that it's going to be a character-driven story, which usually are far more rewarding in the end than just some quick plot development. I mean, you read it once, and you know the idea, heck, you can read the wiki and you get the same experience. But when you have this character-driven stuff, that's when you get the deeper ideas, and when you see these different plays on these different kinds of stock characters, it's just usually interesting to see. So if you're looking for something off the beaten path, or if you're looking to recommend something for people who really love horror but are looking for something different in comics, this might be one to be picking up as it comes out. So just thought I'd put that out there, and hopefully I'll be able to get another review out soon. Okay, thanks. Bye.